All right, everybody. It's time for me to finally talk about Halloween Ends. Now, if you know me, I am a horror author. I have written many slasher novels. Halloween is one of my biggest influences, and I have even done a marathon session last year, or maybe it was a year before, where on my podcast that's not active anymore, it's called Trax. I actually did a more or less marathon where I watched every Halloween movie in order all the way up until Kills, reviewed them all. At the end, I ranked them, and I pretty much think I feel the same way about all of those movies as I did in the previous podcast that I did about this. Did I think that the Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2 with Jamie Lee Curtis, was my favorite, and the rest of them could pretty much be ranked in order. You know, like one was the second best, and then 4, 5, 6, on and on and on, and they just continually got worse and worse, with some very, very small exceptions where I thought the Rob Zombie ones were so bad they needed to be in last place and just ignored completely. Not because of the actual, script or anything. It was more because, Rob Zombie doesn't know how to make a fucking movie, apparently. At least he didn't with Halloween 2, where basically, it was like shaky cam the movie, like everything was too dark, and anytime Michael was on screen doing anything, it would just like go to this shaky cam where you couldn't see the kills at all. It was awful. So, with those out of the way, I went into Halloween 2018, and I didn't like it very much. I thought that they made Michael too fast. I thought that they made it just not as suspenseful or creepy or as stalkerish as he was in the previous movies, basically. They showed him too much, in my opinion. That was the biggest thing. They showed what he was doing too much. There was no real dread of where is he. The door is open and he's looking into the door at the girl, and then they cut away from the door, and then all of a sudden, he's not there at the door anymore. So now he's in the house. Where is he? Is he gonna sneak up on her? Or is she gonna escape? That tension was not there in Halloween 2018, and really, I don't think it's kind of not been there since, I guess, like Halloween 4 or 5, probably 5. But 2018 was really bad about it. So I watched Halloween Kills, and I basically kind of put that off. And I was thinking, I'll just watch it at whatever point, because I was such a non-fan. I didn't like Halloween 2018 at all, so I didn't care about Kills. Then I went into it and said, screw it, I'm going to watch Kills because I'm a horror author. Michael Myers is the one slasher that scares the shit out of me, basically. So I'm going to watch Kills. Watched Kills, loved it. Put it up there right next to the original 1 and 2, which I think is basically one movie. Even though I think part 2 is better than part 1. But if you put them together, it's one movie. And I thought Halloween Kills was right up there with those two. I loved it. So I was very, very excited to go in and watch Halloween Ends. I was so hyped. This is one of the movies that I was actually excited to see. And I swear I've not been excited for any movie probably in the last 10 years. Maybe even longer. I don't know. Maybe since like the last Saw movie. I'm not saying Jigsaw, the one before that. Where I was, really excited to see that series end. Because I enjoyed it, but it was, running a little too long. But I was really I was so ready for Halloween Ends. I was just so ready for this movie. If there was somebody that, you were trying to aim this towards, it was me. I have been waiting for the Michael versus Laurie final showdown basically since H2O, which I thought was much, much better than this. Way, way better than this. And I kind of hated H2O as well, when I watched it. When I did my ranking, I pretty much said H2O was just a big fat turd, and it still is. But that final battle was so much better than this. Oh, God, this was just terrible. I'm not going to go into spoilers just yet, but I'm just going to say, if you want to watch this movie, do not pay for it. Do not go to the theater. You need to, quote unquote, download it, or you need to watch it on Peacock or wherever else they're going to have it. I don't know. I guess Peacock's the only one. Watch it on Peacock. I'm sure you already have Peacock because of WWE Network or something like that. Even if you had to pay the $5, just if you have to, just do it not at the theater. Don't give these people money at the box office for this turd. Do not reward them for this. This was terrible. If you want to watch this movie, what you should do is basically turn the movie on, skip to an hour and a half in, and watch that last 30 minutes, and there you go. You'll be a lot less disappointed, and yeah, you would have been better off watching a fan film. I'm a huge fan of the Halloween series to the point where I love the fan films. There was a fan film that I raved about on Trax called Halloween, the Death of Michael Myers, which was going to be the final showdown of Michael. It was very cheaply made. It was made for like $300, I think. Seriously, $300. And these people just basically, it was like a bunch of friends with a crappy VHS camera in 1996 made their own version of Halloween Ends in 96. And I loved that movie, and the kills in that movie were really good for that budget especially. But the thing was, that movie got it. That movie did what Halloween Ends should have done. Now, I know people were saying, well, oh, he's probably just biased. Maybe he had something to do with the movie. No, I didn't. No, I was 6 years old. There's no way. But, and I don't know the film directors either. And I think they've actually kind of woke in, recent times. So, not a big fan of that. But they did put out a great movie. And I did, if I remember correctly, I think you can find it on rumble.com where you can see like a cut. I actually did a fan edit of this movie where I basically spliced it all together, up the resolution as much as I could, did some AI upscaling, did everything I could to make this thing look, better than it did, because it was kind of fuzzy and 240p-ish, on YouTube, but it's still so good. The guy who plays Dr. Loomis is incredible, in my opinion. And it's just, this isn't a Halloween movie. This is not a Halloween movie. This is some Netflix garbage, Netflix backwash that was thrown out there, and they basically did what they did with the later Hellraiser movies. If you know how they had later Hellraiser movies pretty much from Inferno forward, they more or less took a script that they knew wouldn't sell and threw Pinhead in it for like 10 minutes and said, well, it's a Hellraiser movie now. That's what Halloween Ends is. It's one of those. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to say how Michael dies or if he dies in this. I'm not going to tell you any of that. I'm not going to tell you who dies in this, because as much as I should, just to save you the money and time, I still want people to experience it so they can have their anger come out on Twitter and other platforms, so the studio will, correct this turd or just not do this again with the franchise. This is not an ending. This is not a good ending, at least. This is a horrible ending. All they had to do was basically just have Michael walk around for the whole movie and killing people, have some, pumpkin decorations everywhere, have kids trick-or-treating, have something happen in it, and then eventually those two have a showdown somewhere, and there's some type of build, and then they just, they come off, and it's like, the David versus Goliath, Laurie versus Michael, and it finally ends tonight. They finally have their final big Dragon Ball Z battle somewhere, and it's over, and she gets him. And that didn't happen at all in this entire movie. So if you don't want spoilers, go ahead and just leave the video now. I'm not going to even talk about the spoilers much because there's really not much to talk about, but I'm just going to just tell you to have a wonderful day. And if you want me to talk about spoilers, I'll give you 5 seconds to click off of this video. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like and subscribe if you're still here. Last warning. Here we go. So Halloween Ends is basically just some shitty romance movie where they tried to do what they did in Natural Born Killers or something. So one's fanfic of that movie where you have Laurie's daughter meets with some guy who accidentally killed his brother. And for some reason, the guy who killed his brother accidentally becomes a psycho and something to do with like, you know, he like steals Michael's mask and goes on like a killing spree. So Michael Myers really didn't kill anyone in this movie, or not many people were killed by Michael Myers. And it was just this weird thing where they just like had a script that had nothing to do with Michael Myers beyond Laurie Strode's daughter, who I don't care about, and some other guy who kills himself at the end of the movie, because this whole thing of if I can't have her, no one will, and then he stabs himself in the neck, and it's really fucking retarded. And then Michael comes and snaps his neck for some reason, because a knife to the, you know, to the jugular wasn't good enough to kill him in 30 minutes that it would have took for Michael to get there. But the final battle is 2 minutes long. It's literally, I've seen more action-packed fights on YouTube where two people are fighting at a McDonald's. I mean, seriously. These two barely have a tussle. It's almost like it's basically like a domestic dispute between these two that ends in her stabbing him in the chest and pinning his hands down to the island or whatever, and then she slits his throat, and that's it. You know, that's not an epic conclusion at all. That's nowhere near as epic as the one from H2O, that's for sure. So they basically just have the final fight. She slits his throat, slits his wrist, hit throw him in basically a car crusher. That's it. Michael's dead and gone. He's an old man. He gets bullied by this guy that's maybe like 21 years old. The movie meant nothing. There was no point in this movie at all. It was literally just have Michael Myers be an old, you know, fragile man with no superpowers, with no, you know, regeneration abilities, with nothing. He was just a human in this movie. And he just was a, you know, crippled old man that just got his throat slashed, and that was it. It was boring. It was so unsatisfying that it just disgusted me. I'm just like, and there was no build up to it. It's literally, they killed the build up to the Michael fight by having the dumbass, whatever his name, Corey or something, show up in the Michael Myers outfit. And like, you know, she was like, oh, you thought I would kill myself, you know, did the whole thing about calling an ambulance, but not for me kind of thing. Laurie Strode did that. And then the guy, you know, gets shot twice in the shoulder or something. He stabs himself in the neck, and that's it. And then Michael just kind of walks in the house, and there's no music, there's no atmosphere, there's no tension, there's no nothing. It literally just looks like a guy in a Michael Myers outfit just walking around like, nice house. I wonder what's going on here. And then just, they have this a little bit of a squabble, and that's it. Like, there's no tension, there's no, a lot of the stuff from the original, like from the trailer, I didn't even see it. I mean, I might have missed it somehow, but I've watched the final fight twice, and there's like, you know, come and get me, motherfucker, and all that sort of stuff was not in the movie. I'm just like, what? Like, all the stuff that was tense about the fight in the trailer didn't happen in the movie. I'm blown away by this movie. It sucked. It just was fucking horrible. It was fucking horrible. Okay, if you want me to do more movie reviews, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Tell me in the comments what you thought of Halloween Ends. Do you think they should make another Halloween movie or not? What was your favorite Halloween movie? My personal one right this second is still Halloween 2, the one with the hospital from 1981, I think it was. Followed by Season of the Witch, which I have gotten a huge appreciation for after watching Halloween Ends. Yeah, I've seriously, once I saw Halloween Ends and how they took a movie with barely any Michael Myers and just fucked it up, I really am thinking Season of the Witch is a masterpiece at this point. And I'm not even joking. I literally love Season of the Witch. No, I hated it on the first watch, but now that I can accept it for what it is, I want more Season of the Witch and other movies, not in the Halloween. I don't want it to be called Halloween. I just want more Season of the Witch stuff, because they really knew how to do great atmosphere, great suspense, great storytelling, and great, just, you know, creepy Twilight Zone vibe in that one. And I think they were trying to go for that in this one, where they were trying to do their own sort of Season of the Witch, but also have Michael in it, like, you know, have your cake and eat it too. But just bad. Fuck this movie. I'll see you in the next episode where I react to something else or do another movie review if that's what you want. I've been Falco Punch 64. God bless you and good night.